Welcome to the Honest Homeschool Podcast, real conversations with real homeschool moms. I'm Kristen, your host for today, but we are a roundtable of 7 different voices, rotating each episode to talk about messy, meaningful, sometimes hilarious parts of homeschooling. Today, we're just introducing ourselves and sharing the mission behind this podcast, and we are so glad that you are here for it. Let's start with Sarah Ruth. Sarah Ruth, will you tell us a little bit about yourself and your educational style?
I am a mom of 3 boys, and we live in the Appalachian Mountains of Georgia. I would say that our homeschool style is Charlotte Mason influenced. I don't know. Shanda can maybe speak to how influenced or purist I am. but we love being outside, and I lead a lot of things for families in the outdoors. My husband and I both work for ourselves and kind of have our hands in a bunch of different things so that we can be present with our kids more often than not.
You even host a membership, correct? Teaching others how to start their own co-ops?
Yeah, this past spring, I decided to start something called the Adventure Club Blueprint. And it's a resource that you can get a PDF and kind of walks you step by step through vision questions and offers you templates that you can actually use in order to get started. And then occasionally I'm opening up a master blueprint course where we get on Zoom together and I kind of walk you step by step through it and kind of as a live coach talk to you about the ins and outs of starting one and kind of some problem areas that I've run into, hopefully to help other people not have to deal with the same hangups.
Very good. And then tell us a little bit about the guides that you write for the feasts as well. That's a whole different side to your business.
I'm a Messianic Jew, so that just means that I'm Jewish, but I love Jesus. So essentially, I want my sons to understand the culture and the feasts and celebrations that I grew up with. And in doing so, I realized there were other families that wanted that same information. So I created family guides that have tradition, history, all the Jewish components, but written from the perspective of, we know Jesus has fulfilled the spring feasts, and then we're still waiting on him to fulfill the fall feast. So it gives you activities, handcrafts, all kinds of things like that. So I have one for each of the feasts. And then I actually have a membership right now called Feasts and Family. And it's more for mothers, really. It's an email series that you get every month. Because I've had a lot of moms just ask me, they don't even know how to use the guides. So this is a little more of walking mothers through the Jewish year and talking them through what month we're in, the relevance on the Hebrew calendar, and then giving them some application for their family in a kind of lighter, not as in-depth way as the guides.
That's awesome. That sounds fascinating. Let's go over to Shanda. How about you introduce yourself and tell us a little bit about your homeschool philosophy?
So my name is Shanda, and I have 4 kids, a boy and 3 girls. It was actually kind of funny because my son has said he was disappointed 3 times because he was kept waiting for that brother, and he just never got one. But I remind him regularly that God must have thought he was pretty special because he is the protector of 3, little sisters. But we have been homeschooling from the very beginning. So he is 7th grade this year. We are Charlotte Mason homeschoolers as well. But I always like to say that I am Shanda, not Charlotte. So probably like Sarah Ruth, like you are Sarah Ruth, not Charlotte. We follow a lot of her principles, but at the same time, just as our children are born persons, like we are born persons too, and our family unit is going to do things that work best for our family. So we do mostly Charlotte Mason homeschooling, but I probably tweak it here and there, and purists would probably tell me that I don't do some of the things properly. But yeah, so that's where we're at.
And you also have a business called Devoted Motherhood, or do you call it Devoted Life now because it has multiple facets?
So it started out as actually Little House became a home on Instagram years and years ago because I just wanted to. I did chat books. And so I started sharing our homeschooling journey on Instagram. And then I realized that while I love homeschooling, my heart really is more for motherhood and like spiritual training for our children. And that kind of morphed into this devoted life, which my husband kind of does with me now, where the aim of that business is to be rooted in scripture and growing in Christ. So all of the resources that we put out are going to be very scripture centered and just aimed at helping whoever is using that resource to grow in their walk with the Lord. So it's kind of morphed over the years and just has continued to follow like my growth, as a mom and a homeschooler. And there are homeschooling resources on there, but they are more like devotional centered and, like I said, aimed at just helping people grow in Christ.
And what made you decide to homeschool?
Well, it's actually funny because I was convinced we would never homeschool. So I was homeschooled for 2 years as a kid, but really that experience showed me what not to do as a homeschooler. Even my mom would tell you like she was not like made for homeschooling. But then when our son was born and he was nearing kindergarten age, I was teaching him his letters and numbers, and I had this epiphany that really homeschooling is just an extension of motherhood because I am already teaching him how to, you know, his ABCs and how to count, and I'm teaching him Bible and whatnot. And I thought, I mean, I could probably do this, let's do this for a few years. And so I talked to my husband about it. And he was kind of opposed to homeschooling. He went to a private Christian school and he had just kind of assumed that we would always send our kids to a private Christian school. But after a long conversation with him one day, he just looked at me and he said, "You know what?" He said, "I would rather you try homeschooling and realize that this isn't for you and our family than to put our kids into school and always wish that you had tried." And so now here we are 8 years later, and we're still homeschooling. And it is something that we take year by year because I never want to hold homeschooling so tightly that God can't rip it from my fingers. And so, like, that's something that every single year we do reevaluate and just say, is this still the best thing for our family? I mean, there actually have been a couple years where we have looked into like dual enrollment or whatever, and doors have literally been closed where that ended up not working. And we're just like, okay, Lord, just by faith, we're going to continue to homeschool and we are loving it. So, yeah.
That's fantastic. Okay, Beth, let's move on to you. Tell us a little bit about yourself and your homeschool philosophy.
Yeah, so I'm Beth, and I am also a Charlotte Mason homeschool mom.
I'm outnumbered. I'm outnumbered.
We have been homeschooling under the Charlotte Mason philosophy for probably like 7 years now. My daughter is going into sixth grade, so I have she's not going into sixth grade. She's currently in sixth grade, but I was an enthusiastic homeschool mom, and I started her first grade curriculum in kindergarten because I had zero chill. In the typical oldest child guinea pig fashion, she's doing her seventh grade curriculum this year for sixth grade. And then I also have a first grade son. So our family is built, we say it's been built through biology and adoption. Our daughter is biological and our son came to us through adoption as a newborn. And it's been wonderful. We love our two kids. We live in Colorado. We do all of the Colorado things. If it's stereotypical Colorado, we have done or are attempting to do, except for camping. We are not camping people. And I don't know if we ever will be. I might need Sarah Ruth to come and teach us. We will.
We're glampers over here. Like, take the big camper with you, and then it's all good.
I don't even know. Glamping's a little even too far for me. I'm a hotel person. I'm a hotel person.
I told my husband last night, I'm like, I feel like we would be very happy campers. We just have to try it.
And you also run a business, Little World Wanderers. Let's hear a little bit about what you do with that.
Yes. So I've been writing since my daughter, before she had even fully started school. I started writing curriculum and unit studies, and in not the smartest business move ever, I just like gave away everything I ever did for free. And then I had to like change directions. So I no longer write unit studies. For the last 3 years, I've been focused on writing a program called A Mother's Education, which is based off of a Charlotte Mason concept when she was running the PNEU schools and would mail out mother's education programs. And moms would write in their narrations for their books and write back their exams, and she would respond to them. So seasonally, I release a new unit for moms And we have a community aspect where we read 4 books together in community, and we share nature journals and handicrafts, and it's all online, but it's kind of like book club meets Charlotte Mason co-op for moms.
That's fun. So
It is.
tell us about your newest release. I think I saw you share about it on Instagram.
Yes. So I also have a membership, and it's called the Mother Circle, and it's similar to, it's like Substack Plus. Really, it is my writing and reflection on the Charlotte Mason aspect of motherhood. She really held this strong opinion of mothers and believed in moms, that they are capable and qualified. And I try to encourage moms to really dig into how capable and qualified you are and can be in this methodology, not just for homeschooling, but as a person. So pointing to truth, beauty, and goodness. And I share weekly videos there and 2 blog posts a week. And then every month I send out a like packet where you get aspects of truth, beauty, and goodness to encourage and hopefully make motherhood just feel really wonderful and special.
That's fun. That sounds really fun. Okay, I think it's my turn. I have to introduce myself. I am Kristen. I run Arrows and Applesauce, and Arrows and Applesauce started as a hobby mostly. Well, actually, it morphed when we were adopting our daughter. I am also an adoptive mom. When our first came to us through adoption, I tried all of the things. I created a blog. I made us business cards to try and find her birth mother. I did everything I could to put our hopes and dreams out into the world. And so that blog turned into a homeschooling blog because I also am a very type A homeschooler and wanted my daughter to immediately start learning all the things because it was fun. So I was having her do tons of hands-on activities and I'd write about them on my blog, and slowly over time realized that I wanted other activities that I wasn't willing to pay for, and so I decided I'd try them, make them myself. And it has slowly grown and grown and grown into what it is today. And I share the activities that I make for my children with the world. I do all of the illustrations myself, which is my favorite part of it. I love drawing all of the illustrations for my activities. Everything's printable, so it's very easy for everybody. I try and keep it as basic as I can. I like simple. So the illustrations are the most complicated part of what I do. I like to make the illustrations really fancy, but then the information as simple as I can. But sharing about our homeschool journey has been very therapeutic for me. I really enjoy sharing how we do our homeschool on Instagram. I don't do the Charlotte Mason philosophy, and you're going to gasp at this next sentence, but I have literally never even read one of her books. So I'm sorry. I know, scandalous. But I would, I guess, call myself more of an eclectic homeschooler. I was first drawn to more of the classical approach,
Right.
the well-trained mind, learning Latin, all of the very classical style of learning. It was very appealing to my type A self. So I would say I'm more eclectic. I probably do, from the small knowledge that I have gained from you guys and from Instagram on who Charlotte Mason was. I probably do some Charlotte Mason things just unknowingly because it seems like a very family friendly philosophy. Charlotte Mason is just so cozy, you know. Every time I see somebody sharing Charlotte Mason style, it always looks so cozy. You know, morning baskets and narration and everything. So
Tell my
the little
son
that I do know.
it is.
What?
My I need to remind my 7th grader that it's cozy and not.
It is. It
Oh,
does. It
yeah.
looks very cozy. It
Well,
always looks so cozy.
For
You know,
what it's
watercolors and nature study. It's all very.
worth, for what it's worth, I'm pretty certain that Charlotte Mason is a classical form of education. So
Well,
Charlotte,
there. Okay. So, like,
it would probably be a pretty easy transition. We're gonna woo you over to the dark side here.
I'm glad you
You
pointed
didn't
that
know
out.
you were getting on a podcast with us to be like won
I had
over.
no idea I was going to be converted in the podcast. But yeah, I pick and choose whatever looks good to me. I have definitely realized that I love reading aloud. So if I can take a subject and turn it into a read aloud, I will absolutely do that. We do our history that way, Bible study that way, uh, geography that way, poetry study, artist study. I will read aloud for at least an hour and a half every morning, until my voice starts to crack, and then we have to move on to something else. But yeah, if I can read it out loud, I will, and then I'll have them tell it back to me, which I hear is called narration.
Yep.
So
You're further proving our point. You just covered like the first 4 subjects we all do every day.
I'm a closet Charlotte Masonite. Charlotte.
And so even though I'm not hosting, let me ask you a question.
Okay.
So tell us about nature study in your
Nature. You're trying to pick a fight. You're trying to pick a fight is what you're trying to do. I am not, I think we have established that I am not a nature person, although I do have a garden, and that has been very naturey. It's very naturey, yes. And I have enjoyed that. But since I live in Southern California, where it gets blazing hot, and in the suburbs where we have to drive a solid hour to get to a body of water, it's a little harder to do nature study in the suburbs of Southern California. So we do our best, and we do enjoy our garden. The kids have really enjoyed, spotting new bugs. We got that app, I think it's called the Seek app,
Yeah.
that lets you take a picture of a bug or a plant and it'll tell you what it is. And that has been absolutely fascinating to my very non-naturey self. So we do not watercolor our nature sightings or write them in notebooks yet, but maybe that's something that we can add later when I become more naturey.
This
Owl
is a
box.
too, right?
We do have an owl box, yes, and I'm very hopeful that an owl will someday inhabit it because there is no owl yet. But I mostly got that so it would kill gophers.
For what it's worth, I mean, nature study, keeping a nature journal, it's not meant to be watercolored. It does not have to be. In fact, it should be mostly written. And if you happen to want to sketch something, you can. But if you look back at all of the nature journals that Charlotte Mason had her students doing, it was mostly writing their observations down. So,
Well, there,
I mean, growing
I'm
up,
learning
you
new
do
things
not
anyways.
have to be great at watercoloring, which I know you all are, but
I have actually never tried to watercolor, but that's good to know that that's not required. So, okay, so there's some other ladies in our group who will also join us in future episodes. So not with us today, but joining us in future episodes will be Katie Klein at Little House Learning Co. She homeschools 3 children. Also Charlotte Mason. I'm going to be outnumbered even more. Charlotte Mason in Minnesota. She is in Minnesota, and she shares loads of books, tips on homeschooling with simplicity, honesty, humor. And then we also have Carla Snipes of Everyday Learn and Play. She's in not Southern California. I'm Southern California. She is in South Carolina. And she also has 3 kids, 2 girls and a boy, and shares the cutest learning activities. And then last, we also have Jess Collier, who will be with us on later episodes from Silo and Sage. She has 5 boys in Wisconsin, and she focuses on literacy and family style learning. Okay, let's talk a little bit about what we hope this podcast will be. Shanda, why don't you start with what your hopes are for this?
well, I kind of loved that. We were all just kind of chatting one day and we were like, man, if we just could say what we really honestly thought. And then it kind of morphed into this like, well, should we just start a podcast where we actually share the things that we have done? I mean, between all of us, we have many years of homeschooling knowledge and experience. I mean, clearly across the entire United States from East to West Coast. And so I just thought, like, for me personally, I thought this is something that could be really good for people to listen in on just honest homeschooling thoughts from women who have done this, who are in the thick of it right now. It's not something that we've necessarily arrived. We haven't met the end of it yet, but we are in the thick of it and we can share our experiences and hopefully encourage, maybe share some laughs along the way. And yeah, that's kind of why I was excited to be a part of this.
I do love that it started out as just a group chat. People make that joke how the vacation finally made it out of the group chat. This is our vacation outside the group chat where we finally are getting together. So, yeah, I love that it started as just, 7 people having a conversation about homeschooling, and now we're inviting other people to join the conversation. So,
Mhm.
I hope that it will be that type of encouragement there where it's just kind of like you're meeting your friends for coffee and you're discussing curriculum, because we can all discuss curriculum at length, and it's fun. I just want it to be as conversational as possible because I think the homeschool community could really use that. There are so many new homeschoolers now, with the you know after COVID, just all these people showed up, and I think a lot of people are looking for a little bit of direction. So that's what I'm hoping this podcast will do, is that it'll give them this little rest where they can see that other people are still figuring it out, not even reading Charlotte Mason's books and still doing okay. I'm just kind of dorking my way through homeschool. So, and I bet a bunch of other people are too. So so encouragement is my main goal for this. How about you, Beth?
So I think one of the things that's unique about our group, or maybe it's not unique about our group, but with social media, sometimes it seems like things have to be black or white, and when people disagree, it's just like, well, I'm not going to follow this person anymore. And within our group chat, we've had many disagreements with grace. And I think our podcast is going to show that too. Like, we can disagree on how to implement different philosophies or the same philosophy different ways. And it still comes back to like, oh yeah, I respect you as a person. I admire how you're serving the people in your home. I appreciate the voice that you have to offer. And we always come back to like, we're still friends. We just maybe we do things a little bit differently on certain things. And when you get into homeschooling, it can feel like you have to have your guard up 100% of the time and find the people that agree with you 100% of the time. And I love that we don't always agree 100% of the time.
Mhm.
Get to talk through that in a way that's meaningful and hopefully, yeah, encourages others.
It gets exhausting to feel like you always have to defend your choices
Yes.
when nobody knows your full family story. So
Yeah.
it's true. No homeschool family is the same as the next. And I think everybody thinks they should be, everybody sit down at the table, everybody do this specific curriculum. And if you don't do the entire curriculum, things go wrong. And there's all these must, like checklist of how to homeschool type things. And
Hmm.
that's not really how it is once you get into it. It's everybody does it differently. We're like snowflakes. how, how about you, Sarah Ruth? What are
Yeah,
your
I think
hopes for this podcast?
I think just the diversity of voices, each of us coming from different regions and different backgrounds and even having different family units and dynamics going on. Just I'm really excited to see how maybe it fills a hole in the podcasts. I mean, I listen to podcasts. I love many homeschool podcasts, but I don't know of any where everybody's not kind of along the same track all the way. We're not all going to be Charlotte Mason on this podcast. We're not all going to have the same family dynamic. Not everybody's going to work for themselves or have a husband, at the home more than not, like maybe my family does. So I think I'm just really excited to kind of offer the listeners something different, and that you might listen to me share and feel like you aren't necessarily relating and you're hearing new information. And then you'll listen to Shanda share and be like, oh, that's exactly what our life is like. And so it'll be really relatable because you're going to hear from these different perspectives.
I love that. I think it's going to be a huge encouragement. At least I hope it will be. It's something that I would have liked to have had when I first started homeschooling. I think the world has changed so much in just the last few years as far as like how many people homeschool, different styles, different resources. I mean, the number of homeschool resources in the world today is even more than when I first started. And my oldest is only 11. I haven't been homeschooling for like forever or anything. I haven't graduated anybody. And
All
even
right.
just since she started homeschooling, things have changed so
Yes.
much.
Yeah.
And there are so many more homeschoolers. So this is something that I really would have appreciated, just conversational and encouraging and seeing that everybody does it differently. Those are things that I would have liked to have seen at the very beginning.
Yeah. There's no one right way.
Okay, that's it for today's roundtable. I hope it felt just a little bit like chatting with friends who get it. The best way to support our brand new podcast, the Honest Homeschool Podcast, is to follow us, leave a review on this episode and future episodes, and share an episode with a friend who might need some encouragement today. You can also find us on Instagram at the Honest Homeschool Podcast for more behind the scenes bits and more conversations between the episodes. And if you have a topic that you would like us to cover, you can always message us on Instagram or email us at honesthomeschoolpod@gmail.com. We would love to hear from you. So thanks for listening.